5 common missteps that people make when they are trying to manifest, but they really are slowing down the law of attraction. Of course, no one really wants to slow down their manifestations, so they're not doing it consciously, they're doing it at the subconscious level. But this is one of the reasons why it's so very important to know what you're doing wrong so that we can correct it. Whoa! I'm back, guys. Keisha Reynolds here, and I'm here to break down those 5 different missteps that people most commonly make when they're trying to utilize the law of attraction. Okay, point number 1, negative subconscious beliefs. This is something that you're definitely consciously, at least, not aware of. You don't know that you're doing it. And I'll go ahead and give you an example. These are the beliefs that have been programmed into you. And the more that I do energy work, the more that I've discovered that these things can be programmed at even the genetic level. Sidebar conversation, but you can do some research on the whole phenomenon around epigenetics and how different things are in your DNA coding that go back 7 generations. But for the purposes of this particular conversation, we're going to really focus on subconscious beliefs that have been programmed into you from your childhood. Whoa! Here we go again. I had to switch spaces. Okay, so let me give you an example. For me, I constantly had a lot of money, or at least what I considered a lot of money at the time when I was in my 20s. And the more I earned, the more I would spend. And then I would look at my banking account at the end of the month and whammo vammo, there'd be nothing there. And so I was trying to figure out, where is all my money going? And even when I started making, higher in the 6-figure area, I would draw a blank as to where all the money went. But then there was something that was misfiring somehow. There was some reason as to why when I brought in all this money, it was going literally in the front door and out the back door. And so I started to examine my own subconscious beliefs. And I realized that growing up, my parents, I should say, had a few specific statements like, and usually this unconscious programming shows up in the way of cliches, right? The sayings that your parents say to you all the time, which is really like brainwashing. And so my mom would always say, I got to rob Peter to pay Paul. That's not the best statement now that I think about it. Sorry, those of you for the Bible reference there, but that's something that was commonly said. Or, money doesn't grow on trees. And, so I had this notion that money was never something that was sustained. It was something that was like fleeting. It was magical and it disappeared often. So what I needed to do was to understand, number 1, what were my subconscious beliefs around money? And then number 2, I had to figure out a way to fix them. So we're not going to go too deep into this for today's discussion, but if you want to know more information around fixing your subconscious beliefs, then we can get into that at a later point in time. Number 2, be mindful of your language patterns. What do you mean by language patterns, you may be thinking? I'm glad you asked. Okay, it's when you utilize words like try, can't, we'll see. Oh, and my biggest pet peeve,
Whatever, whatever, whatever.
this goes out to you, Lenny. That's my husband. He uses that word often, especially when I'm talking. Whatever. Sort of like a I don't care. It's a very dismissive word, but sometimes it's like, hey, are we going to try to do X, Y, Z? Whatever just kind of leaves it up in the air. It doesn't give you definitive energy. None of the words that I listed give you definitive energy. And so what are you actually saying to your subconscious mind when you say words like, I'll try to do it. Oh, Lord willing. Oh, and it's more of a passive mindset when you do that. And you have to understand that tone, vibration, the energy by which you're generating and utilizing your words and creating your thoughts within, that is the type of energy that you're going to manifest and bring forward. So be very careful about your language patterns, because it's sending a signal to your brain. Your brain is signaling the reality through your emotions that you're experiencing. And that's what you will bring forward. So instead of try, stop it. Make sure you do. If it's something that you want to do, I am going to do XYZ. No trying, no struggling. No. Be aware of your language patterns, because that's what you're going to bring forward. So make sure you understand the energy and vibration around the words that you're utilizing. Number 3, daily mind consumption. So what does that mean? It really simply put means what you consume, you become. And what you become, you also attract, right? And so you really need to be careful as to what you're taking into your body, into your energetic field. That includes the people that you're around. Who are the people that you're around? Are they high vibration people, or are they energetic vampires? And you know what I mean. Are they sucking you dry of energy? Are you watching the news? The news really is not for your most uplifting type of a day. The news really just brings doom and gloom, and I actually no longer choose to watch it, because I remember Oprah saying this one time: there's really nothing that you are able to do from a news broadcast. You just sit and watch, and you become fearful of all of the negative things happening in the world, and then there's no action by which you can take to correct those things that are going on. So it's really kind of a situation in which you put yourself into a circumstance, you're consuming this energy, and there's nowhere else to put it except for inside your personal being. So think twice about the news that you're listening to. Think about the music that you're listening to. Are you listening to heartbreak and you're trying to manifest a man, or you're trying to manifest a spouse or a woman, or whatever you're trying to manifest from a love perspective? You know, what are you listening to? Oh, my darling left me heartbroken and I'm so sad. You know, that's not going to bring a loving partner your way, because again, your subconscious is 90% of your mind. 90%. That's tremendous. And those unconscious signals, those subconscious signals and programs are going right into your mind, and they're going into your coding, if you will. Keep in mind that every second of the day, every second, your body is utilizing your 5 senses, and for some of us, maybe 6. Your body's utilizing these senses: touch, feel, smell, seeing, all these things to bring information into your body. And there's millions of pieces of information that's coming at you at all times. And you can only really be conscious of several of them at a time. So don't compound the complexity of all that information and all the filtering that your body has to do by adding negative stuff into the mix. So it's really important that you be mindful of your energetic consumption, the foods that you're eating, the people that you're around. Pay attention to what you're consuming and the ways that you're taking it in. And I promise you, you will start to see shifts in your everyday. Just make subtle changes. Maybe weed out that negative nanny in your life. Maybe change that program that you're watching to something uplifting and empowering. And you're going to start to see evidence of these small changes in your life. Number 4, your community. Okay, have you ever heard the saying, your tribe is your vibe? And it just essentially means that the community of people that you hang around really denotes the type of energy that you're going to be bringing into your reality, and the type of energy that you're going to prevalently have in your life. I'm a podcaster. And so I went to a podcasters conference years ago. And when I was there, I met some very affluent people. They're well known, they're pretty affluent. And I met them, and actually some of them live in an island-like setting. And so it would be 2 years later before I was actually able to go to this particular environment. But my family and we did finally get to go there. And I did reach out to a couple of the people that I met during that time. And one of the things that just amazed me while I was there is that there's this cluster of entrepreneurs living in this beautiful setting, and they were also generous. I mean, we got offers to stay at homes, to visit other islands, to stay in their homes there. I mean, really, it was completely tremendous and overwhelming. And I really thought to myself, you know, there's something different here. It was clear that they all had abundant mindsets. As a whole, your community, are they uplifting? Do they inspire you to do better? Do they inspire you to contribute and serve the world in a positive way? Ask yourself these questions. If they're not, then you may need to get a new tribe and build a new community. Okay, now for this final one, numero 5. Is your body prepared to receive your manifestations? So we are spirits encased in this human physical form. And so what does that really mean? Okay, so we have this spiritual component to us. So what if spirit and all of the universal energies aligned in the manifestation that you've been desiring and that you've been going inside and bringing forward appears right in front of you? Is your physical vessel ready to receive it? Is your physical vessel ready to carry it out? Master Sri Akarshana is someone that I follow, and he gives fantastic advice, especially around this particular topic. And he made me realize, he said something one day. He said, and when I said he said it, it's not like he's a personal friend. He said this on one of his recordings, and he said, you know, if you're wanting to make an impact and bring change into the world, and that's me all day, right? Are you prepared physically to live into that gift? And so I really had to think about it, and I said, oh, okay. Well, I want to bring a positive message into the world. I want to share my healing modalities with people and teach them so that they have skills to lift themselves up. But then I realized that you can't do that by just sitting on your couch wishing for a community. He also made the point that people like Gandhi and Buddha and Martin Luther King, some of the prolific figures throughout history, if they actually had social media today, they would easily have millions and millions and millions of followers. And to think that they did this all manually and on foot, they brought their messages into the world. And it really had me thinking, well, I want to bring messages into the world, but I say I hate social media. And I make all of these elaborate programs and challenges, etc., and no one sees them because I'm sitting back saying, I need to build a community first. Well, duh, Keisha. If you want to bring forward a community, prepare the vessel, learn the skills. That's why I'm before you today, learning YouTube, bringing you these messages. And so I'm starting to live into that person that I want to become. I'm starting to ready my vessel so that I can really spread and share the things that I know, because I know it's so essential to bring them forward into the world. Well, thank you so much for listening today. I hope that these 5 tips were really useful for you. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like and comment below. Let me know what you think about these specific tips. Let me know if you want me to go into greater detail on any of this information. And again, thank you so much for your time. Namaste.